So, while my coffee is being made, I'm just gonna vamp for a bit. How about the world? It's just on fire and everything. Yeah, we're gonna get into the world, where it's at, who's been killed, unfortunately, what laws are being passed, and then also an update on the Waltz. How about that? And then shooting Black Girls and Fairy Tales this weekend, and then hosting Tea Time with Translations, Seattle Trans Film Festival, running May 4th through May 7th. If you have not seen the ads, then I don't know who you are. Coffee's almost ready, so be right back. Alright, it is your girl, Ava Davis. I'm a working girl, so I am at the studio at the back of the print shop. And I know you're like, girl, how many studios do you have? 2 main ones. You're welcome. Okay, let's get into it. Let's do a Waltz update because that's fun, that's happy.
Oh, I wanna dance with somebody. I wanna feel the heat with somebody. Yeah, I wanna dance with somebody. With somebody who loves me.
Okay, so the Waltz, we received a $5,000 grant from Invest Atlanta, which is a private-public partnership between the City of Atlanta and businesses, and they do a whole bunch of other things, but also during the pandemic they realized the need to support creatives. I know, crazy idea. So instead of doing a loan, they're like, let's give you a grant where you don't have to pay that back because we know that artists are poor. Especially the creative industries, film, music, dance, theater, all of those things. Crazy, I know. Just going to pop that on real quick. We got wet. Hold on. Yeah, crazy, I know. Let's support the creatives in the City of Atlanta where, you know, second. I'm at work. I never know when the customer's going to come in, so it's just like, what am I doing? Invest Atlanta, supporting the creatives in the city where film and television is like the biggest industry, not only in the city, but the state. But anyways, so technically Studio Vosges received a $5,000 grant, which we are, of course, giving to the Waltz because that's my movie and that's my company and all. Anyways, so I can finally pay myself back for dance classes, but not only that, we can get Spencer started on his dance classes, his dance lessons, because he's all the way out in LA, and so it's really fun trying to coordinate all of that. But dance, so I just completed a first full month of, we're going beyond just the basics, and we're getting into the foundations now. And they're really stressing the importance of me going and coming to one of the group nights, but if you know me, my schedule is so busy, just so busy. But I know that it would be so helpful for my dance growth. Felix, again, continues to be a wonderful instructor. If you do take any lessons at Fred Astaire Dance Studios in Midtown, I mean, they're all incredible. Here's the thing. Every time I go there, they're so complimentary, and they're like, girl, yes, yes. And I take a parade of outfits for them. But it feels like a community there. I'm moving away from using the word family because that, I don't think you should mix the word business and family because then it creates weird boundaries. But community, it feels like a really strong and supportive community between Felix and the other staff members there, everyone's name who is escaping me right now, aside from my other dance instructor, because apparently you don't want to learn with just one person because then you'll get used to just that one person, so you want to shape it up so you get different techniques built into there. But I had a lesson yesterday with Felix, and it's really amazing how far I feel like I've come. And I think I told you all this in the last semester's update with the Waltz, where every year I try and learn a new skill. So one year I took broadsword fencing. That I thought I was taking regular fencing, but it was broadsword. I was like, happy mistake here. Another year I studied Chubbuck. And so taking a dance class, like, that fits into my whole, all right, new year, new lesson, what do I want to learn, to just something for my own personal enjoyment, but it also happened to coincide with the need for the movie, which is I need to learn how to dance. I wrote this movie, and I don't know how to ballroom dance, so getting to learn it has been a wonderful adventure, a wonderful lifelong dream fulfilled, you know? Feeling myself move and feeling myself gain confidence, because, look, I'm not a dancer. I'm not even a mover. I can barely function as a walker, constantly running into things. And it is a struggle. It is a huge struggle for me. Look, let me just put my phone down because, look, we're going to get real. It is a struggle. I have to learn by doing, but part of it is also listening, and then part of it is also watching. And so I get frustrated with myself so many times during the lessons. And what's really nice is not only Felix, but the rest of the staff there. This isn't the first time at the rodeo. So they're like, well, why would you expect to be perfect in one lesson? And I'm like, have you met me? I'm a perfectionist in recovery, so of course I expected to be perfect in the first go. But that's not realistic. And so, number one, I'm giving myself a lot of grace, and they're so patient, they're so kind. I remember, I feel like, not yesterday, but the lesson previously, we literally spent like 20 minutes going over this one technique, and I was getting so frustrated with myself, and Felix tried so many different ways to teach me. And then yesterday he was working with me on my arms. Because apparently I have a really hard time relaxing my shoulders, and I had to joke to him, like, look, all my life, masseuses, everyone has been trying to get me to relax these shoulders, but something about keeping tension in my arms so that when he turned me, I would follow him, and it was like, all right, don't bend your elbow, don't do this, do that, and it was just like, oh my god, this is so much going on, and it makes sense. And also I need dance shoes, but it was really nice and sweet. He, I guess, get this often, so they brought out this hula hoop to help me figure out, all right, here's where my arms need to be. This is the tension that I need to carry my arm, so that when you go, you're doing that right there. You know, crazy. I do need shoes. That's me always in class, losing my balance. And Felix is like, you put your feet down. Again, I'm at work. I'm checking in, you know. But if I would put my feet down on the firm ground, then that would help me. But it's just little things like that. So yesterday we reviewed the Waltz and everything we've learned about that, and I'm so happy where, like, when you move into year 3, there's supposed to be this rise and fall, and it has been, ever since I learned that, it's like, oh my god, that's adding the grace and the beauty to it. And that was also a couple of lessons where it's like, girl, you ain't getting this, like, rise and fall. Literally, one homework word assignment was like, all right, it was soften the knees, down, up on the tips of my toes, up, and down. My homework assignment, literally. I have a lot of homework assignments, and it's really fun. And if I would go to group classes, nights, whatever, then it would really help me. But yeah, I'm really enjoying dance lessons. I am nervous about doing the movie still. The thing I realize about dance is it's so intimate. And dancing there with Felix, and then having a scene partner. Again, acting is already intimate, and then we're dancing in it, and then it's just like, but also I know just from the work that I've done with the cast, with my director Hillary, the producers who sat with me through a crying session of me needing to let go of control, me talking to myself, and them being so kind to listen. But the way that everyone believes in this project, it makes me so emotional, because I don't know why this is such a personal story to me about a black trans woman who wants to learn how to dance. And maybe it's because the story is rooted so much in trans joy, and also this universal thing about wanting to find love, and yeah, so another thing is, so I'm adapting it to a stage play as well, and I'm going to apply it to the Riser Lab. But I'm working with Hush Harbor Labs because they've given me the gift of coming to this writing workshop with Dana Stinger and some other incredibly talented writers, and talking about the project and realizing it's not just about a woman who wants to learn how to dance. It's about somebody coming into their own, of wanting more from life, and that's this universal thing that everyone has talked about in the script, of finding herself through dance. I had a whole idea there, and I just lost it because I got super emotional. So yeah, one final thought before I go into the other things. So one thing I realized about dance and art, and I've been toying with this idea too because I like to correlate everything to the elements, and I really picked this up from Avatar, The Last Airbender. I did not think of dancing as being so grounded, whether it's when I've been in rehearsal the past several months for an adaptation of Trojan Woman called Malicious Compliance, and even our choreographer there talking about, like, you need to plant yourself in the ground, you need to feel the ground, how is the earth supporting you? There's so much earth talk and really grounding talk, and even in taking dance lessons at Fred Astaire Dance Studio with Felix, he talks about, like, see, you're not grounding yourself, you're not putting your feet firmly on the ground, and I never realized that. I'm like Aang, I'm a Twinkle Toes. So dancing, hold on. There's so many interruptions, I know. So dancing is really grounded in the earth. I never thought of it as, you see dancers and they're so graceful and they're so light as feather and they're moving, but it is really earth work. It's really grounding work. If you were to assign them to an element in the 4 elements, they are earth signs. It does not hurt that Felix is also an earth sign, as is the director for the dance thing that I'm in. Come on, Taurus. And then I was thinking about this more further in developing the idea, and for me, acting is very much water because there's a grounding to it. You are still working with the body and moving with the body in a way, but you're also bringing words into it, which is very fluid, and all of it's still fluid. And I haven't quite figured out fire and air and how that all works into it. And I feel like writing, in some capacity, definitely feels very ethereal, air-like, and maybe music is a fire. So, how does it go? The 4 nations once lived in harmony, dancing, acting, music, and writing. I think those are going to be the new 4 symbols for the prismatic queerdom. Something to do with those. I don't know. It's a thing that I'm constantly exploring in life. Anyways, I should get back to work. I think there's customers out there waiting on me, but I wanted to update you all on the Waltz. We are so close to securing financing, so keep your fingers crossed that someone will give us money to make this movie so we can go into production this year, because stay tuned for the next part of this where we're going to get into the state of being trans in this country and the state of being black and minority. Alright, let me go wait on some customers.